good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. My name is Adi Thomas from Heritage Television. Tonight, we have a program called Playing Party Politics with Coronavirus. Playing Party Politics with Coronavirus. That is what we're going to be discussing today. So today I have some few gentlemen with me. I have Mr. Tony. Tony is an attorney and is the Secretary General of the Lower Niger Congress, LNC, which is an aggregation of a self-determination initiative of the Old Eastern and Midwestern region of Nigeria, as well as the Co-Convener of the Movement for New Nigeria, the outreach arm of the NLC to the rest of the Southern and the Middle Belt Nigeria. Is an alliance leading the task of easing out the imposed and unworkable 1999 Constitution of Nigeria to make way for a fresh constitution proposal to be ratified in a referendum. Mr. Tony, you're welcome to the show, sir. Mr. Tony, you're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, great. Thank you for responding.
Viewers.
The next man I have on the show is Mr. Olu Kuponiyi. Mr. Kuponiyi is an health worker in the United Kingdom. He's a social care with adults and children in autism and challenge behavior for 15 good years. He's a senior project worker and he works he's a senior project worker for Romford, Newham, I think Romford is in Newham, isn't it? Newham Council. Mr. Kuponiyi, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me, panel.
The next gentleman I have is Mr. Ubani. I'm not sure if Mr. Ubani can actually hear me because it seems I've actually lost him. His screen is frozen.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Okay, Mr. Ubani is someone that is very close to my heart. He's been very, very one of the most reliable person I've ever met in my life. He's the immediate vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Welcome to the program, sir.
It's my pleasure tonight. Thank you.
Okay. So tonight, we're going to be asking each one of you to talk a little bit about yourself. So maybe I'll start close to home first. Maybe I will start with Mr. Kuponiyi. Mr. Kuponiyi, could you tell us, our audience, a little bit about yourself?
Okay, yeah, thanks. Good evening, panel. My name is Mr. Olu Kuponiyi, and obviously Nigerian British born, been in overseas for over 25 years. But obviously I'm constant in Nigeria as well. You know, and I actually did most of my studies in abroad. I've got my diploma in human resource studies. I also did health and social care in degree. So at the moment I'm working with Newham Council as a project officer. So I work with adults, also with children with challenging behavior, autism, and mental health. So that's the basic about me. I'm a family man, with 2 children, and I live in Romford in Essex.
Very much for that lengthy introduction. We really appreciate you. I'm going to go quickly to Nigeria, and I'm going to introduce another gentleman. Maybe I should go to Mr. Ubani first. Mr. Ubani, could you speak to our audience and introduce yourself to them, sir?
Well, my name is Monday Onyekachi Ubani. Onyekachi Ubani is from Abia State. I'm from Ikuano in the state of Nigeria. That is the eastern region of Nigeria. My university, I schooled at University of Nigeria in Nsukka. I first read political science for 2 years. Went to law. I studied law from year 1. I lost 2 solid years from University of Nigeria and Nsukka to Enugu campus of the same university, and graduated in law with second class upper. In 1989, I was called to the bar, Nigerian bar, 1990 with second class upper. I have been in practice for over 30 years, now over 29 years. And then I am married. I have a son now who is a lawyer, who has been called to the bar. I have 4 children. My second son is going to be an engineer very soon by the grace of God. All of them are schooling here in Nigeria. What more do I say of myself? I have been the former chairman of Nigerian Bar Association Ikeja branch. and ended up being the second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, the entire nation, and also the chairman of Igbo Conscience. I hold many many titles and have received several awards. Maybe that should do for now.
That should do for now. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you for that. The last one I'm going to introduce, that I'm going to let him say a lot about himself, is a man that might do most of the talking tonight, because I can see he's boiling within himself. His name is Tony. Tony, could you please introduce yourself properly, say a little bit of what to our audience tonight?
Well, you already did more than half of the introduction. Like you already told the audience, Tony Nnadi is my name. I happen to be from a place called Arochukwu in Abia State. But more importantly, I am secretary to the organization they call Lower Niger Congress, which is the aggregation of the self-determination initiatives across the eastern half of southern Nigeria. That is the place you call, the areas you call the south, and southeast geopolitical zones of Nigeria of today. And the Lower Niger Congress itself has an outreach, because the problem we're trying to solve is a countrywide problem, and we have traced it to the constitutional arrangement of Nigeria, which we insist at moment is unworkable, because it was imposed by people who had their own objectives away from what will serve the community. And so that outreach is what we call the Movement for New Nigeria, again aggregating the self-determination initiatives and the balance of southern and middle belt Nigeria. And so we have 3/4 of Nigeria, the owners of Nigeria, who are suffering from the unworkable arrangement imposed on them, and by way of the constitution that is in place today. And what we're doing is to tackle that problem holistically, so that we can recover our society and begin to reconstruct. Like we can see now from what has happened in this pandemic, that we're entirely on our own. We're almost like without a government. Compared with what other countries are doing, you could see that we're entirely on our own. And so that's the kind of introduction I will want to leave it with that now.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that. I will want to start with Mr. Kuponiyi first, still close to home. The reason I want to start with him is because I want him to actually explain to us what is actually going on in the world, compared to, so that somebody in England will summarize.
I'm having issue with your audio.
Okay, what about that? Can you hear me now?
I'm having issue with your audio. I'm no longer hearing you clearly.
Okay, let me just try and see why you're not hearing me. Yeah, okay, what about now? You should probably be able to hear me now. The audio seems to be going and coming anyway. Maybe you might have to change position a little bit where you are in Nigeria. Okay, it's coming and going. Can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me? Hello, sir. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take your image.
I'm no longer hearing you at all. I'm having issue with the audio.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me, sir? Okay, let's try another way. Let's try another way. I'm going to call you back directly now, so that we can continue the call with you on the phone, and then people can actually hear you from here. 1 second, sir. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Okay. Okay, we're trying to bring the ongoing Mr. Obayin naturally, so that it will be very, very easy for us to talk easily without any interruption. Sorry guys to keep you waiting. We're gonna try again, sir. We're trying to bring him in now. Okay, the call is trying to reconnect, but it's not connecting. It's the network reception in Nigeria that is causing some issues there. Let's try one more time, yeah? And if we cannot get through him, will we find a way around it still? Okay, he's calling back directly now. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I'm going to get someone from the studio to actually help me with this call. We're going to try one more time. In the meantime, while we're trying to resolve that, can I get Mr. Okay, so we find Mr. Obani back, yeah? Okay, so we're going to do it this way, Mr. Obani. I've actually replaced your image there, so people will still be able to hear you because they want to hear what you want to say. Okay, the first thing we want to do is, we were trying to speak to Mr. Kuponiyi about what is happening in the world in reference to how it's being conducted in England. Then we're going to come back to you, Mr. Obani, about comparing what Mr. Kuponiyi is going to tell us. We're going to compare it to what is actually happening in Nigeria. Mr. Kuponiyi, please.
Yes. Obviously, as we can see what is happening. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly.
Yes. As you know, everybody can see what is happening around the globe. We've got this form epidemic is now this coronavirus code, is spread all over the world. Obviously, you all know it started from China, dated last year. As we speak, it's all out. And it's now, pandemic. And we can all see the body, the body is just over exorbitant. As I was told today, even in the day, we had over 400. As we know, there's no medication to cure it. Most people has been nice out. I work in the health field. I've been working for more from, and I think it's something because at the beginning everybody was only from China, but as time goes on now, it's moved from China all over Europe. We are Italy, a whole lockdown, similar to France, Germany. I've got friends. They actually struggle, So I'm speaking, just know that it doesn't feel that they in the other side as well. If I'm struggling to UK, you can see how it's taken on the NHS. Just imagine, God forbid, we have this period as we speak.
I'm not very sure if Mr. Obani can hear you because it's not working the way we want to do it that way. Mr. Obani.
Sure.
I'm not hearing him clearly, but well, it's technology. We have to do with whatever we have. I will be able to share my own experience. what is going on here in Nigeria, but I'm not hearing him clearly at all. He's cutting.
It's cutting. That's what I just thought as well. The line is breaking badly. So let's try and go back to our original way. Let's try and go back, come out from that system and go back in again and see maybe that will solve the problem a little bit, yeah? Because the way we wanted to do it is not working at all. So come out. The good thing about it is that you know how to come out and go in again, which is a very good thing. It's very promising. So let's try that way and then we continue, yeah?
Okay, no problem. Let's go back to the video call.
Okay, please, yeah. Mr. Kuponiyi, we're sorry for that.
That's fine.
We solved some few things here, but Nigeria being a land of technology land, the internet here is still not very, very good, so we're trying to work it out for us. Okay.
Sure.
Let's go back to Tony. Tony, what can you say about people playing party politics with coronavirus?
It's most unfortunate that on a matter like this, people still want to play pranks. Like it took over 1 month now to get to where there was even a broadcast from the president, Buhari, and of course the other party tried. Like an opposition party would do, say, oh, why don't you do it? Don't you do it that way? But when you listen closely, see that they all do not understand the gravity of what is at play. They were all in the National Assembly of Nigeria, still discussing what kind of vehicles they will give to themselves and all kinds of things. But the worst part is that the broadcast had come, rolling out what the plan of the federal government of Nigeria is, their containment plan, their contingency plan, and then the social intervention, because we are going to ask people to see that home. The social intervention that the government, like we have seen, in all the other countries, the US has its own package. All the other countries have rolled out what they're going to be doing for their citizens who are going to be in that lockdown. But what did Nigeria do? They went back to, a list they compiled. The people they have in the database by which they are going to be making that intervention, the ones they say are the most vulnerable, were actually people who were reached at the time election was coming just from their party. I have not seen anybody outside that small circle of people who were given trader money and all kinds of things. The database they want to use now, they pretend they have a list of their citizens. They pretend they have some kind of thing that they could rely on to know who will get this intervention and who will not. So they fall back to what they use for election. It is what the APC used to reach those they wanted their votes at election, their party people in certain areas. Now their party is not popular in the eastern part of Nigeria, and therefore that list does not include people from the eastern half of southern Nigeria. And that's they are pretending, just like other countries are speaking now about what they are doing for their citizens. They are pretending they have something that will go to all the citizens. Meanwhile, they have at least 40 million bank accounts connected to the BVN, which they could have used as basis of reaching everybody. If the government of Nigeria brings out 100 billion naira, it could give all the citizens who are going to be locked down $250,000, 250,000 naira, and you could take it from there. If you convert it to dollars, you discover it's far less than $1,000. It's far less than $1,000, and there are countries that are doing a lot more than that for their people. And I don't see how we can begin with the kind of list they compiled at the heat of election, which was limited to their party. So that's the kind of game they're playing, and somebody has to tell them that the citizens have been left in the dark. We have over 100 million people that are in distress at this time, and they are not even going to reach 5% of that number with what they have. yet they're broadcasting it as if they have a plan. They have to move away from that and go to something that will reach a larger number of people.
Okay, thank you very much for that. What I find out is, if they have a plan, and a lot of people have said to me they have VBM. The VBM they have, they should be able to use that one to know who they're going to pay. Because they can, I believe the VBM is actually linked to each person's bank account. Am I right, sir? Hello, sir. Mr. Tony? I think technology in Nigeria is failing us badly tonight.
But I'm here. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Let's go to Mr. Ubani, while Mr. Tony is trying to resolve his problem. What we were talking about, Mr. Ubani, is that the VBM is there and is linked to bank account. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Any person that has a BVN, of course, is assumed to have a bank account.
Okay. And if it's linked to their bank account, then they can know who they need to pay. Instead of helping the rich, they need to help the lower people, the people who needs this money most. What do you have to say?
Yeah, correctly, my brother. The problem with Nigeria has always been the issue of data. We don't have any accurate data the country can rely at any point in time to carry out simple things like this social welfare you're talking about at this time. There's a global health challenge issue that is affecting the entire world, and we have seen how other nations are doing it. They are making sure that despite the lockdown, people are not allowed to die of hunger, because hunger is even more dangerous than coronavirus. Now, they have taken some measures in order to cushion the harsh economic effect of coronavirus in their various countries. And one, we are not getting it right with even issue of testing Nigerians, because I have watched television and I have seen countries where their health workers go from home to home in order to test anyone that has any health issue. Here in Nigeria, you have to make calls, and most time the complaint is that even those calls are not answered, and when answered, they take you and dump you in a place and make you feel as if you are stigmatized. There have been some complaints to that effect. Now, we are suffering from those deficiencies in terms of structure on ground, to curtail or to handle the present pandemic that has broken out. We are also contending with the issue of taking care of people due to the lockdown in many states. Many states have even announced their lockdown measure before the federal government came up with the measure on Sunday? Yes, I think on Sunday. And so we are having issues on various grounds. And so we can take those BVN, as we already pointed out, as a starting point. They can look at the account numbers of those people who are of the poor of the poorest, and can put some certain amount of money in the accounts. But this time around, we're hearing that monies have already been transferred, and you begin to wonder which people are the beneficiaries of the money that have been transferred. Because I have not heard anyone who has come out to openly say, I have received any money from the federal government as a result of this lockdown. At least in trader money that the vice president was sharing, where was being shared to when they were in the marketplaces, during the election time. But in this one is actually in sick, and we're hearing that monies have been transferred, and nobody has come up and claim that he has been a recipient of the money that has been transferred. So it is actually shrouded in secrecy, and something that Nigerians need to interrogate before we begin to, hear about billions of naira that have been wasted in this particular crisis, whereas this money has ended up in the pockets of our political elites.
Tony, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I agree with him. It's looking like a scam right now, unless they go to an objective basis for determining who gets. And it's so easy. It can be something of, there could be a cutoff, sum to say accounts with balances below a certain threshold will receive so it assumes, so you don't leave an account that has a less than 5,000 balance in it to go to send the money to an account that may have a 10 million, 20 million, or even 2 million, even 500,000. You should give priority to those who may not be able to find the odd 10, 20,000 to function with. And the BVN is the starting point in the absence of all other things. There could be other things to do to reach more, but the better starting point is the BVN that cuts across countrywide. Everybody who has an account number, is linked, an account in a bank is linked to that BVN in a family. You will find at least 2-3 people who are so connected, and it's so easy to now begin to sort out what is left, so that there's something that gets to the people who are in distress at this time. It's less than how many days they went into the lockdown. They already dried up, because what coronavirus has done for Nigeria now is to expose the fact that there's no system, there's nothing there to receive the citizen, or to help the citizen in any way. It's just being exposed. It's not as if if Corona didn't come, there would be hospital. There was no hospital at all. There was no healthcare system you could point at. There was no welfare system you could point at. Have the citizens, has Nigeria not been the global poverty capital? What has that government that has been throwing billions in all directions been doing with those citizens? Do they have a database of where to find those citizens? Then you go to the National Assembly, they are busy sharing vehicles that cost $30,000 to $50,000 a piece. At the time people are dying, and other countries are running helter-skelter to see what to do to save their own people from dying. It's just a shame.
Thank you very much for that. It's a big shame, because when I look at the whole situation of things in England, maybe I should let Mr. Kuponiyi talk about the England situation that we wanted to talk about before everything get kaput. Mr. Kuponiyi, give us a background to how the government of England are doing it.
To be sincere, we all know the big pandemic. This never happened. Life, we have the Ebola, we have this. But going to your question, like you said, as you know yourself, we can see how people in England themselves, they're suffering in terms of all this financial banking. You know how many companies the government will have to bail out. As I'm speaking to, as I'm hearing today, the airline, EasyJet, they've grounded all their plane. They need their financial bailout from the government. The government set aside some billions of pounds for people to bail, self-employed people. I know I've got friends that they work in the IT sector, they're self-employed. They're telling them, okay, we're going to cover their salary, but they can't cover anything till June. So, it's a big tax on the government and themselves. But obviously, we know United Kingdom is a big economy. Not that this can happen in Nigeria. It can happen in Nigeria, but as we all know, when it comes to financial money in Nigeria, the money disappears into the thin air. Because I was in Nigeria, I was in Lagos roughly about 3 weeks ago. And I know I know obviously the epidemic wasn't this pandemic, it wasn't this high. But go back to UK on the 1st of March, everything was like totally upside down. You can go, we go to shop, okay, there's money that they said, but at the same time, all this money as well is not reaching the right people. People are falling for, there's some people that are self-employed, nobody can go out. You can only go from your home to work, and you have to work, it has to be under social care. So reality speaking, we have the UK government, they're trying, the money is going to get to people, but reality speaking, there are people too panicking. There are people that are self-employed. There's no, there's no jobs out there. Many companies, they've told their workers to have a layoff, but now, and reality speaking, the tip of the high, because even when all this goes down, to take, to start from scratch is going to be difficult. People are for, there are people that they say they're for the inland revenue to get the tax credit. They tell you that they have to wait it was like 2 or 3 hours queue. But the UK government, you can see the health sector, they are actually at the top, at the tip. The pressure is on them. we have the Excel here all overnight. They have to construct into a emergency hospital for 4,000 beds. And it's not even the figure is even still rising. The figure is not even going down. So it's just only God, to intervene. Because reality speaking, you can see as we speak today now, the death in UK is almost 2,000. Same also as well in America. We can also see the figure is skyrocket everywhere. China now, China everything is back. China everything in business is back, school is back, but the way it's eating Europe, you can see the figure. You can see Spain, you can see Italy everywhere locked down. Like I said before earlier on, I've got friends and family. I've got them in Nigeria locked down. They got stuck there. Today, there was an article. There was what's it called? Video I sent to some of my friends that the British embassy in Nigeria, they're trying to bring back, British citizens who are stuck back to UK. But like I said, UK is actually eating every government. So it's not only Nigeria, but the problem with Nigeria is I've got. That was about a couple of days ago. There was a report going around. Dangote donated 1 billion. Tedola donated 1 billion. I'm hearing billion, but like my fellow colleague said, there all these billions. Where is all this money? We can't even see. I've got people sending me video about they are sharing rice, they are sharing bread, and all this bread they're just giving like a token to people that live in neighborhood, and they just okay, yeah, have this, cover the whole neighborhood, but it doesn't work like that. Someone said to me, it was a joke, but it's actually a serious. If NEPA bill can go around the whole houses in Lagos, let's take Lagos for example, then why can't all the government grants, all the government rices, or whatever the Lagos citizens they're sharing, why can't it go around? So, but back to UK as well, everything is standstill. I've got people that there are people that they have to pay their mortgage, people that have to pay rent. The kids are home, everybody's home. We can't even go. You can only go, exercise. So, reality speaking, this is only God intervention. Just pray that it doesn't get. I just pray that Nigeria doesn't get worse, because my brother, we know Nigerian sector, the health sector is, sorry to say, is shambles. So if UK can struggle with ventilation machine, I was saying to someone, I say a ventilation machine, it costs close to about £60,000. Not that we can't provide all this in Nigeria, but all our leaders, when they get sick, when they all they run abroad. But now there's nowhere to run to. So maybe in a way, it's time for them to wake up and see that, they have to do something with the health, with the health back home. Because at the end of the day, UK as well, the figure is still skyrocketing. Today I heard about a 13-year-old child died in Belgium, about a 21-year-old lady died a couple of days. Before they were saying it was only for the elderly, but now it's killing young adults.
It's for everybody now.
Yes. So reality speaking, I was speaking to an elderly man. He said even when they had the world and when they had the World War II, it wasn't this bad. People were saying, you can see, we go to the Costco the other day, there was nothing. Tesco, Q, everywhere. You go to the shelf, everything is empty. And you see people in Nigeria now, people don't understand, they're hard workers. People work day by day. People get their living day by day. There are people in the market overnight. They lock the market. Okay, what have they put in stuff for the market for ordinary civilians? We're talking about the BVN. Okay, that's true. That's one way to get into some people. But there are people that they don't have BVN. I work with the social care. I work with people with challenging behavior, people that are disabled. How about the people that are even disabled people in Nigeria? People that they don't even have bank accounts. How do they reach them? So seriously speaking, like my fellow colleague said there, it's a wake-up time, because I know Nigerian people are hardworking, and seriously speaking, you can't cage people, you can't cage Nigeria in the house for 2 weeks. It doesn't work out. You can't cage people in 2 weeks in the house and say they're not to work, and you don't give them anything to do. This guy even called a riot. I don't pray for a riot to come out, but reality speaking, they have to do something. You see here, company is telling them, government is telling them, no rent to pay for 3 when the cancel the what's it called? Business rates. They put a stop to it. I don't know, maybe all those market women, are they going to put a stop to their rent? Are they going to put, schools, things like that? All those overhead that people, we all know that everybody. I was in Nigeria a couple of weeks ago, and I know we went to the market. People survive day by day. It's not everybody that they've got their white collars or they've got their suit, they go to work, or people that work is very. There are people that they survive day by day from what they sell in the market. So now all the marketing. Let's take Lagos State, because obviously that's where Everything locked down. So people can. I've got friends that they drive Uber. Uber can't move. Nothing can move. Everything stands still. I've got my parents there. I've got my family there. I was speaking to my dad today. My dad was saying everything stands still. You can't go to the market. You can't go to this. Even when you go to the market, what's there? So reality speaking, it's like you caging and God forbid you caging and lion in a cage and you don't feed the animal. I'm not saying people in the but just say like you caging people at home and you don't. There's no feed. There's no means of resources. There's no means of any communication. And like my fellow colleague said, they're donating all this rice, all these billions of. But where does this money? We're hearing billion. We're hearing all these multi-dollar, all these big so-called big shots in Nigeria. But why are they giving? Who did they give this money to? Because as we know, at the end of the day, all this money is going to go from someone's pocket to another one's pocket. How many people is it going to? How many people's money is going to filter to? So seriously speaking, it's a real wake up call for Nigeria. Like I keep saying, I pray the pandemic doesn't rise in Nigeria, because we all know that our health sector cannot even cope with 1% what UK is going through. So if UK government the nurses, medical field, they can't get gloves. There's no inadequate gloves. There's no inadequate training. I was in Nigeria. What's it called? Sanitizer. They went from 15 naira, 200. It went to 10,000, 15,000. I'm hearing now. Face masks, a market woman was saying it used to be 50 naira. Now it's 200 naira. We can say 200 naira is a token, but how many dispose it at the end of once you finish? But people are wearing it for days and days. Gloves people are wearing it. So what is the government? By now, let's go state government, they should be able, even the federal government, giving people hand sanitizer, giving them, I know the money is there. We can't say Nigeria has got this money, but we all know Nigerian money goes from someone's pocket to another person's pocket. And that's it. Who do you challenge? Some of the people, some of them, you can't even take them untouchable. But that's my own say, because we're close to Nigeria. I'm always in Nigeria at least 2 or 3 times in a year, so I know what is going on in Nigeria. So if UK can actually be facing this pandemic, facing this, look at now, yes, a couple of days ago, America, they have to release $2 trillion from the, what's it called? From the house, yes, to tackle it. Trump can be saying it so, but when the way it's hitting New York, China is Italy is locked down, France is locked down, China is locked down. Those are all those big European economy. Even look at Nigeria now, we can't even export crude oil. So now, what's the way forward? And this thing goes, for everything to actually gets back to normal, it takes time. This is going to cause big recession. You can see the FTSE, the foreign exchange dropping, the dollars is dropping, the pounds is dropping. The markets. You can see that everything is dropping. As we speak, there's only China economy that is moving. So, reality speaking, the way forward in Nigeria is, I know it's a, but the government needs to sit up. They need to, bring some tax people, tax office to help the people. I hear they're giving rights to people in Lekki. They're giving rights to people. I'm not saying Lekki people, but what about people in the slum? People in the Okokomaiko, people in some downtown area that people don't even know. And you know how people live in Nigeria. People live in Lagos. Everybody live. There's some people that live more than 3 or 5 people in a room. So when you're saying social distance, how easy is that? It's not an easy thing. So just go all night long with this, but it's something that touches my heart. We're too close, it's too close to home. So we just pray that, like I keep saying, it doesn't spread. It doesn't become a pandemic in Nigeria and Lagos. So that's my take, fellows.
I want to shed some light into something. Is there any government that could be in power today that's ready for this, Mr. Ubani?
What's the question again?
Okay. Is there any government, whoever is there, maybe APC, maybe PDP, maybe AC, maybe DP, maybe any government in Nigeria, is there any government in Nigeria that's actually ready for anything like this?
There is none. The problem with Nigeria has always been that of leadership. We have not been able to get it right with the quality of leaders we have enthroned to govern Nigeria. and it is very unfortunate. And because our electoral system also is not proper, is faulted. And as long as you have not gotten your electoral system right, you cannot in any way manage to get leaders that can be able to manage the country effectively. Now, my friend in England has actually said most of the things that is even bedeviling England. Britain is as prepared as any country. I mean, I'm one of the countries that you can say will be prepared for medical issue. I've been to Britain and I've seen their Medicare system is one of the best in the world. Now, if they are now growing under very stressful atmosphere due to this pandemic that just blown the world, then you can imagine a country like Nigeria that is not prepared for anything. We don't have any basic, we don't even have basic drugs like Panadol in most of the government hospitals. Aso Rock Clinic is alleged does not have syringes, does not have ordinary Panadol. And every year, millions and millions of naira is budgeted for Aso Rock Clinic. The same thing with all the hospitals we have in Nigeria. And there is no there is no sign of preparedness, for this particular pandemic that are just broken. But I must say this: despite our deficiencies, despite the fact that we are in terms of infrastructure that we are very low, some of the state governments have actually risen to occasion to handle this. One of the states that actually I am very happy and pleased with the way they have handled this pandemic is Lagos State. The governor himself, I have been criticizing him that he has been a layback. He has not actually come up to show good governance and essence of leadership like Fashola and the man that took over Fashola. But over this handling of this particular coronavirus, Sanwo-Olu and his deputy have actually risen to occasion and shown some form of leadership that is very admirable. They have been briefing Lagosians every day. They have taken measures that the federal government itself couldn't take. They have kept Lagosians up to date of how they want to handle this or what they are doing. And it's no wonder that even those that have been regarded infected by the disease, we have had a high rate of recovery. I think as of yesterday, 5 more recovery were made. People who recover from that sickness were released, which is something that is very, very, admirable, something that we should be very proud of. So other states like Delta, they are building most of these isolation centers now first class. I saw the one of Delta and I was highly impressed. I was not impressed with the one that, Katsina State, which is the home state of our president. The governor is not doing well. He has to up his game with regard to this pandemic that has broken out. Other states are also coming up with measures, but federal government did not start on time, but they are trying to catch up. Now, the committee that they set up is doing well, especially in giving Nigerians up-to-date information of what they are doing. But where they are failing is in this issue of welfare. They have not in any way told us the structure they have put in place in order to ensure that people who are locked down for weeks, how they will survive, how they will be taken care of. The measures in place are very insufficient and not too appalling and not something that we can commend. But as I said earlier, some state government are showing some level of competence, especially also in being transparent in announcing when they are infected, which the federal government was, trying to play games with. The state governors have been very honest in announcing the fact that some of them have been infected with the disease. To me, that is way to run. That is international best practice. Just try as much as possible to be honest and be transparent with your people, and then every other thing will fall in line.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah. When we look about how to build a solid foundation, any government in power now, any governor, any federal government, being state governor, being federal government, they can actually use this to build a very good foundation so that people can re-elect them easily next time.
That's
because
right.
If they do things properly now, if the person said they want to stay there for the next 2 terms, I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Yes.
But if they only
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, if they only want to look after their own party people, right?
Yes.
There's going to be a problem.
Yes.
I'm going to put this question.
Of course.
I'm going to put this question to Tony quickly. Tony.
Yeah.
One of the problems we have in Nigeria, we think is the government problem alone. Don't you think individual has got this problem too? If the government tried to stock the hospital, some of us will take the medicine and go and sell it in their private practice. Do you think it's the government alone that has the issue here, Tony?
No, the question. Let's backpedal to the last question you raised before this, concerning whether any government could have been prepared. What my organization has been engaged with, what we've been trying to tell everybody in the last 20 years, in fact 21 years now from 99, is that we cannot build anything on a damaged foundation. You cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand there. It will collapse. Where I disagree with my friend Mondo Bani and all of those who are expecting miracles from this kind of foundation, we have a faulty constitutional basis, a faulty constitutional foundation. That is why we cannot have any elections that could produce anything better than what we've seen. That is why we cannot have any leadership better than what we have seen, because we have a system that is rigged. We have a system that, we have a constitutional arrangement that puts mediocrity above excellence. We have a constitutional arrangement that rewards criminality and punishes those who are prepared to be honest. And it is that constitutional basis that we have been telling everybody we must address. If we don't, the society will collapse on us. Is the healthcare system that has been tested now, or is being tested by Corona? What is the situation with electricity? What is the situation with the election itself? What is a federation like Nigeria doing with a central electoral commission? You saw the other day where the Supreme Court of Nigeria, some headsmen will sit in the Supreme Court and remove an elected governor in Imo State. Somebody who had won his election in a clear setting that had been sworn in. We have 68 items on the exclusive list. You see what the security situation is in Nigeria. In all of that, the system is upside down. And we have said it to everybody who cares to listen, that if we do not stop and go back to that foundation, remove it and reconstruct it, the union will collapse. And it's not even just going to collapse by itself. Some of us are actually actively working to take down this hopeless edifice so that we can recover our own portions to go and reconstruct. If Nigeria is not willing to reconstruct its foundation, we won't stand there until the building collapses on all of us. That's where we are. Nothing can function better than it is. It's not about party. Anybody, whether they're of PDP or of APC, anybody who is prepared to swear to defend and uphold a constitution that makes everything impossible is a part of the problem. If I have one rifle and only one bullet left, I will not distinguish between any one of them. They are committing treason against the rest of us. Look at a country that sells 3 million barrels of crude oil every day. The citizens, they become the poverty capital of the world. And look at the kind of things those in government house, across board, across parties, are doing with the monies. Because the constitution does not hold them accountable. We have a provision in the constitution that puts it at their disposal to do what they want to do for the citizens. They do not owe the citizen any obligation. We have a constitution that puts the treasury, the keys to the treasury, in their hands. They can take money. It's only when they leave office you can ask them questions. Which other country has that? We have immunity that prevents you from asking them any question. They don't owe you any obligation. They have the spare key to the treasury, and they have immunity. At what point are you going to get them to do anything for you? We have 68 items on the exclusive list. That's only the federal government that can touch. So the system is dead. 200 million people are trapped here, and people are pretending we're in a democracy. This is worse than apartheid. In apartheid South Africa, the Boers were building their society. They had education. They had systems they built. But here we have people who do not believe in anything.
Okay.
And we want to build on that kind of foundation.
Thank you very much for that.
Let's pray that this corona goes away so that we can go back to this issue very quickly.
Okay. Mr. Ubani, can you elaborate? Will the system, can the constitution, can this constitution, can it ever work?
Well, the issue that my learned brother Tony raised, I have always been an advocate of a restructured country. I am one of those who is against the over-centralization of the Nigerian polity, which has actually made Nigeria to be very inefficient. We had a constitution in 1963 that was operational. Federalism was properly run, and Nigerian regional governments were doing so well. If you go to study our history from 1960 to 1966, we had one of the best, running economy in the various regions of the country. But the over-centralization of the polity has made Nigeria to be very, very inefficient. And so, with the constitution we have presently, constitution that also describe Nigeria as a federal system of government, but in operation, it is actually a unitary system of government. We cannot be able to make much progress. But I am not one of those who advocate that, by the fact that, probably if we divide, that we can be able to run an efficient and better system if we don't get the kind of leadership that actually will be that we actually know their reason for governance and want to make Nigeria their priority or make their particular place they are governing a priority. Because you look at the governors from the eastern region where Tony and I come from, they are no better. We have representatives in the House, senators and House of Reps members, and we have. I'm coming, my brother. They are there by virtue of their vote, whether they were selected or this, but they are there by virtue of the fact that some people.
Them from Abuja.
Okay, let's agree, Tony. But what I'm trying to say is that we must have a new orientation with the kind of leaders that will emerge in the country that will give Nigeria better leadership. Because for now, we are not having the best political elites that are running the country. In any of the regions, there is no region you can claim today you have best of hands that is actually running Nigeria. They are running Nigeria down. And that's why this coronavirus is actually exposing the weakness of the system, the hypocrisy, the stealing culture, the corruption that has been embedded in the system that made Nigeria not to have any infrastructure that is working. There is no single structure. My brother, there is no single structure today that is working in Nigeria. There is no other our educational sector, our medical care, our road transport, our air transport. There is nothing. There is nothing that is working. So this thing is exposing. And the good news about what is going on is that these guys have no place to run to again in the world. They are now forced to stay in Nigeria to take their medical treatment. They are now forced, and the time is coming where their children also will be driven from universities abroad, so that all of them will come here in order to fix our educational sector. So my prayer is that God has answered the three prayers I'm praying for. One of the prayers I'm praying is that let there be a time in our national life where the nations of the world, our hospitals in the world, all over the world, we turn down Nigerians as patients. So this particular coronavirus has started it. My second prayer is that let there come a time in our life where our children will be driven from the various good universities their children are schooling abroad in order for them to come down so that we can fix our educational sector. The third one is that let there come a time where nations all over the world will reject them buying houses abroad, so that we begin to buy our houses here, we begin to develop our own houses, develop our nation, and begin to develop factories all in Nigeria. So those prayers have been answered one after the other. Can you believe that all our leaders now are being treated in Nigeria, those who are infected? Almost all the political elites now are infected with this disease, and they are being treated in our Nigerian hospitals, which they have refused to fix. So by fire, by force, they will now be made to fix our healthcare system, knowing fully well that the time will come another time when issues like this will come up and they have no other place to run to, for medical tourism other than in Nigeria. So it's a good news that is actually coming out of this particular crisis that is actually, besetting the entire world. That is one aspect, So my brother, what we're saying is that I agree with Tony that we need to restructure Nigeria. But I also believe that, look at the issue of INEC he mentioned, the State Independent Electoral Commission that conduct local government election in the various states. How are they? How far? How far? To the extent that we're not clamoring that INEC should come and take over election in the local government because of the rigging method, that if you are a political party in the state, you will never lose election during election at the local government level because of the fact that almost all the officials are appointed by the governors who are compromised. So we have to deal with a lot of issues in Nigeria. And I tell you this, the moment we get it right with our electoral system, the moment we also decentralize the way of running Nigeria and give power to the federating unit and begin to develop at our own pace and begin to have kind of leadership that love this nation, Nigeria will run. Nigeria will fly, not even running. Before now, Nigeria is crawling. We are not making any progress. And I'm not too proud to say I'm a Nigerian in most instances because our leaders have failed us and have failed us woefully. I am not proud in most times to say I'm a Nigerian because the kind of thing that happened here, one woman was crying today, on social media, that even though they asked them to stay at home, for how many days now? No light. No light. The children cannot watch television. She cannot, enjoy fun. Everywhere is so hot. I mean, while you are being asked to stay home, some of them have cooked their soup and stew. They cannot put it in any fridge. She was crying. She was lamenting. What kind of country is this where nothing is working? Nothing is working. There is no light. There is no good road. I cannot take off now and say I'm going to Eastern region. Under maybe 10 hours, or I will get to Eastern region. I will spend hours and hours on the road because of bad road. I cannot go to Abuja on the same distance because of the bad road. There is nothing that is working in the country. Everything has collapsed. And when we were voting the government of change, I thought that there's going to be a change in the real sense of that word. They made promises that were so fantastic. I stuck out my neck. I was being called names. I did everything humanly possible to ensure that APC came into power, believing that when they come in, there will be a real change of the entire thing. But today, I have not seen that, and I'm very, very alarmed. I am very, very alarmed, and it's becoming very appalling for me by the day, and I'm beginning to regret it. But who would have been there? Was it even the man that was there? He didn't give me any choice. The man that was there, the president, was not doing better. And so that was why when they came with the mantra of change, all of us, bought the idea. But today, I'm not too happy with that change because the change is not Nigeria. It's not the poor people. I had expected this particular social, measure they will take that will affect the poor. But the poor is not being considered. They're only considered a party member. Even their party members, I'm yet to see any party member in APC who now is claiming that he has received the conditional money transfer. They say they have already started transferring. And someone has mentioned it, all the billions that these guys are contributing. If you don't follow it up, if you don't ask for account, if you're not transparent with it, those guys may not even contribute those monies they're mentioning, or if they contribute it, it will end up in the pocket of the political elite. The way Nigerian money, disappear, it becomes audio money. It enters into voicemail, and that's it. No accountability, and they don't owe anyone any account and all that. So we must insist that all these monies we are hearing they are contributing, they must use it to affect the lives of individuals who have been locked, who have been asked not to go anywhere. We must feel the money. We must feel the impact of the money. Central Bank said they have released 3 trillions. Federal government said they have released trillions. Where are those monies? Where are those money from individuals? Where are those money from Central Bank? Where are those money from Nigerian government? We are not feeling the impact at all. Nigerians are dying of hunger. Nigerians are dying in the houses. Even the medical care, those who are sick, they are not getting it. So we're asking questions and we demand answers.
I really appreciate that. Mr. Kuponiyi, one
Yes,
more
sir.
question for you. Any government in Nigeria, any system in Nigeria, will the citizen allow it to work? Mr. Kuponiyi, with the citizen, forget about the government now. With the citizen itself, we the Nigerians and Nigerians, are we going to allow it to work? Will it ever work with us? Mr. Kuponiyi.
That's a very good question. You see, with the citizen, when you say any government, I believe if the government do something good, the citizen will follow. For example, I will use light, for example. If the government can produce, look at the sunshine in Nigeria. Like I said to you, I was in Nigeria 2 weeks ago. The heat that was 80 hours. Do you know how much solar panel, solar generator we can use this to power at least houses in Lagos? Because at times I believe most Nigerian citizens, most people, and when I say most people, maybe people of my age, I'm almost 50, 50. The younger ones, most people have given up. You know, I left Nigeria over 2 decades ago, but I'm always current in Nigeria. But every time I come back to Nigeria, it always saddens me that we haven't even moved on. So when you say with the citizen, well, it's structured. Because, like I said, it has to come from the top. Because when, like my other fellow brother said there, when there's no accountability, you know, people take money. Where we used to have about EFCC found this money, since this money, we just care about all this $million. At the end of what happens, it goes into the tin. Like they say, all this money that is being donated, who did they donate it to? Is it accountability? How can they? Who's gonna be actually accounted for it? So, but if they put things in, empower the youths, bring out employment. You know, all these people bringing out billions. Like they say, why are they bringing out billions now? They can even use that billion to put in structure, to build hospital, to build good roads. So I came to Nigeria 2 weeks ago. I went for a funeral, and I will tell you, from Lagos to Ilesha, I know what we went through. From 7 o'clock in the morning, we didn't get there till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you see, citizens are actually stressed. People are actually hungry. You can see the pressure on them. You can see, you know, because when people finish from university, there's no job. There's no, even the job you're doing, it doesn't even, what does it take? Like I said, there's no light. You know, I want to be crying. I know how much I pay. I know how much I spend on petrol. You know, and I always tell you, as if UK is better than Nigeria, but you know, this is structure here. You do a job, you know how much is going to go out of your tax. You know how much the tax goes on the road to say, you go to work all day, you come back, what's it going to happen? Light is there, basic things is there. You pay your bill. You look at it. We can't even boast. Some player can't even boast of light for 2 weeks, a week. Sometimes they give you light for 3 hours. It's like, wow, Christmas has come early. So I believe that, you know, it has to start from the top. Nigerian citizens, like we all know, people are frustrated. And you can't, you know, I know people that went to Nigeria. I did most of my secondary school in Nigeria. I know people that I've got mates there. You know, the amount of people that are living in Nigeria daily. All these doctors overseas, most of them are Nigerian. They are the special consultant. That's why you see all these what's it, our so-called leaders. They come abroad. They get all this medical treatment, get everything. You know, but now you don't put this in place in Nigeria. So that's why you see the citizens now. They what if the leaders can be embezzling money, like they said. You know, last week we were hearing they were sharing cars, they were sharing things. The citizen too. Everybody is like every man for themselves. All these so-called leaders, most of them they're in abroad, overseas. You know, so reality speaking, I think Nigerian government, seriously speaking, in my own opinion, they don't care about the citizen. Very, very, maybe 5% care about the citizen. I know how much I've invested in the past. I know business. How can you have a business? You're running a business. You have to be powering the generator 24/7. You know, even the white people that make generator, they don't make generator to stand for 24 hours. So the citizen, the government need to empower the citizen. We have expertise in Nigeria now. You can't tell me Nigerian citizens. We have the best, and you know, there's talent in that country. But at the end of the day, people have to empower them. People have to give them loan. You know, we have loans there. They also they're giving some micro loan, something. But to how many people? You know, the population of Lagos alone. So an average graduate, how much is he getting? I've got younger brothers back there. They are married. I know. They still not easy for them. So, seriously speaking, government has to empower them. People that do this, give them loan on a low, what's it called? On a low repayment. You know, empower people. When they empower people, you know, citizen people, yeah, we have people now. People will actually empower themselves and they will actually rise up. So that's my own opinion. I think, again, like I said, you know, it has to come from the government because people are not food. All these, reality speaking, when Corona goes down, everything goes down. Everything, you know what? Everything disappearing to the chimney. You know, I know Nigerian citizens, not that they're lazy. I know some are lazy, but reality speaking, I've just believed people are fed up. You can tell people are fed up. You know what it takes in the morning? You leave home in the morning, 5 o'clock. You get to work 9 o'clock. You finish. You get back home at 10 o'clock at night. There's no light. There's no nothing. You know, this body. Even as I'm talking to you here, we're locked down for all the. We can go out. To me, it's like house arrest. And I'm thinking when the people in house arrest, how do you, for what, you can only go to the park 2 hours, I go for a walk, I come back. So imagine that in Nigeria every day. You go back or you come back, there's no light, there's no basic thing, there's no water, and you lock people at home. That's what I'm saying. Like I go back to what I said earlier. Even animals here, they don't do that to them. How can you lock somebody up? There's no food, there's no, okay, you say yes, stay at home for 2 weeks. Reality, okay, that's fine. We don't want the pandemic to spread, but what are things that they put in place? What are the incentives they're giving to people? You know, reality speaking, we all can see it. In the days of social media, everything is there. But social media, so reality speaking, when you have a family of two, you can't go shopping, you can't go anywhere. There's no food, there's no light, there's not.
To make it easy, to make it fair on everybody else, Mr. Kuponiyi, I'm going to stop you there quickly. Yeah? I'm still going to hammer this one back to our brothers in Nigeria. I'm probably going to go to Tony first this time around. Tony, there's one question I want to ask you. Will Nigeria ever allow any system to work?
The answer is a straight no. Let me tell you what the problem is. And this is not sentiment. I've spent 21 years unbroken on this inquiry and the actions required. Problem is a clash of civilizations. We are locked into a union with people who owe it a duty of faith to kill others, who they describe as infidels. There is nothing you are going to do about, no matter how you try to fix all the other things, as long as there are people who owe it a duty of faith to kill their neighbors as infidels, and they have 12 contiguous states where they pass Sharia and they're enforcing Sharia, and they want me to remain in that union with them and be available for them to be killed. And you see the number they are killing now, there is no union. You have people whose worldview is that all men are not born equal. And they tell us to our faces that they are born to rule. They don't want education. They don't want innovation. And I'm locked into the same union with them. And I'm expected to abide by it. I can inform you, I can inform all those listening now that there is a majority in that country, in that Nigeria now. We used to be a minority at the time, to the other people why Nigeria cannot work unless we go to the foundation, unless we address these issues. Are we pretending that we do not know that there are people who are killing others in order to take over their places? Are we pretending we do not know that there's a linkage between them and the people who are actually governing that Nigeria, who imposed this constitution, who say we can no longer discuss? Everybody else can pretend, but there are people who are now fed up with waiting. If we have waited since 1960 to get it working together, if we have waited since 1967 after Aburi to say, let us go and sit down and work out something that can become our union. What we have today is not our project. If you go to referendum now, more than 75% of those who call Nigerians do not want to be called Nigerians on account of these two things I've told you.
Tony, it was working.
Those same forces have imposed this constitution. You saw them opening our borders to bring Fulani from all over Africa to come in and to take over their lands. Are we pretending that those things are not happening?
Okay.
So people who are in that danger.
This union.
People who are in that danger.
Tony.
It was working up to 1966.
Yeah.
Up to 1966.
Tony, can you hear me? Tony,
I can hear you. It was working up to 1966.
Okay. It
Why
was
can't we
working up
accept
to 1970s. It was working up
to 1966. No, it hasn't worked for the East. It hasn't worked for the East since 1970. Even Gowon that did it came out only 2 weeks ago to say that they altered the structure in order to stop the East from leaving. Are we still in that war? Are we still in that war? As I speak with you, there's no single electricity plant in Eastern Nigeria. We had an electric plant in Oji River, fired on coal. They shut it down. The ports of Port Harcourt belong to Eastern Nigeria. They locked it down. Look at what has happened to Apapa. Apapa is dead today. As it is with electricity, as it is with the ports, so it is with the security, so it is with the railway, so it is with trans. How long shall we wait? Then they put quota system inside the constitution that put mediocrity in charge of everybody else. I'm happy that Monday Obani is alive today to see the outcome of installing mediocrity to manage his life. At the time the rest of the world is looking for their best, we are looking for our worst. Tell me who in that cabinet, tell me who in that Abuja, those who have to plan my life, tell me who among them can understand what it takes to generate electricity or transmit electricity. Who will explain it to them? Who will explain it to them?
But
and
there's so many sabotage going on in Nigeria. Yes, people are dying, but people are actually, every problem in Nigeria, this is what I want you to understand. This is what I want to argue about. Every problem in Nigeria is not being caused by the
Human
government.
beings created those problems by decree. Human beings who are still alive, they wrote it down. They removed what could work and put what they wanted. And that's why we're where we are. We say, let us go and fix it. They say no. So we say we are fed up. We are not going to be in the union where our life is required. We have given up our assets. We have given up our freedom. Everything we have given up. Now they want us to give up our lives. Are we pretending it's not happening? What was the basis for opening our borders and asking for an enhancement to come in and kill people? We owe it a duty today to take down that union. We owe it a duty today to kill that monster that is feeding on our blood. That's what's going on. And you'll be shocked at the number of people who are no longer willing to even go to discuss any union with those murderers. You saw the soldier on the war front. You saw the general who raised alarm. In less than 24 hours, they removed him. How can you be in an army where you are not sure that your commander-in-chief is not the same commander-in-chief as the army you are fighting, as the enemy you are fighting? Nigeria has become a liability that we are no longer willing to carry. If we can't fix it, let's dismantle it so that it doesn't kill too many people. 200 million people are trapped here. People can sit and wish it is kept. Others can sit in California and wish it's kept. The people who are in that fire are saying they owe it a duty of faith, a duty to themselves, a duty to the generation unborn, to dismantle that union, to dismantle that monster. Nigeria has become a monster that feeds on the blood of its citizens.
Okay.
We can continue to pretend. We just wake up and discover that there's no union.
Let me go to Mr. Ubani. Mr. Ubani, the Western Union, the Western region, when they were doing the regional government in Nigeria, it was working. And they didn't dismantle it until the late 70s. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it's after the war, and then the creation of those states, by Gawan, in order to destabilize the eastern region. During the wartime, he created several other states in order to ensure that the eastern region was totally destabilized. The Nigerian government actually worked the entire regions, all the regions, including the eastern region and the northern region. The pyramid, what they call it, granite pyramid of the 60s, was erected within that time. Palm oil, palm kernel, and all the palm products came during the regional operation of 1960 to 1966. University of Nigeria, Nsukka, was established by Dr. Nnadi Azikiwe in the 60s. The same thing with Obafemi Awolowo University, the same thing with Ahmad Bello. There was competition. Nigeria was actually competing. The regions were competing, and they were doing so well because of the fact that they were running a proper federal system. Money was being collected from the regions and tax paid to the federal government, whereas they control their fiscal resources, their money were being controlled by the various regions, and they are doing so well. but unfortunately, the unitary system that was introduced by Aguiyi-Ironsi, and which led to his death, after they condemned it, up till now, they have refused to remove it from our books. You know, they're still operating a unitary system that has kept us where we are, which is what Tony is actually saying, that with such a system... yes,
was it going
if we cannot in any way...
Ironsi did not tamper with the structure of the Federation of Nigeria. It was Gowon that did that in May of 1967. How can a lawyer be saying this? How can a lawyer be saying this?
Historically, there was a law that was made.
Decree number 34
Tony, allow me. There was a decree. There was a decree that was enacted when Aguiyi-Ironsi came in that actually made sure that the entire federal structure, you know, became one, and he centralized the system. It was his own decree. Now, you will not say that he did not stay long to operate it. The decree was enacted when he came in, but because he was killed immediately, that he didn't stay long to operate it. So Gowon was the one that was a beneficiary of that particular decree, and he continued in operation. So let's get our facts right. It wasn't Gowon that enacted the law that actually made Nigeria to be over-centralized. It was during Aguiyi-Ironsi's regime when he came in, but he never operated. Yeah, he never stayed to operate it because he was killed, you know, immediately and all that. And that was one of the reasons they gave. But when they killed him, they never in any way dismantled that particular decree. The decree was allowed to remain operational. So it's very important, you know, we get it right. So what Tony is saying, Tony also must take into cognizance that including the Talakawas, the poor of the poorest in the east and the northern region, are also, you know, a victim of the misgovernance that is presently going on. Yes, they know the misgovernance. They are, if you go there, they are not, the educational system there has collapsed, their health system, everything about them. You know, when you talk about even the poor of the poorest in the entire, you know, country, you get them more in the north, despite the fact that the northern elites have been in power and they have amassed so much wealth to themselves. So they are also a victim. The majority of the northerners are a victim of the misgovernance of their political elites. But I tell you this, when it suits them, the political elite, both of the region, eastern region and western region, they all collaborate and, you know, and cooperate in order to keep this country the way we are. Where they disagree is when they want to they have disagreement in sharing formula. They now run to us and we begin to now probably shout more than them. But the point is that they know where they collaborate. The point, if you want to get Nigeria running, I'm not going to exculpate any of the political elite, either of the eastern region or the western region. The political elites of Nigeria are the ones that kept us where we are today. But I think that the Nigerian masses must be politically conscious and make up their mind to have a country that will run for them. I'm telling you, Nigeria is not working. If Nigeria is working today, it's working for the minority few. And why is it so? Is because the majority are complacent. The majority are sleeping. There is slumber. It doesn't happen in Britain, where you are calling us from. It doesn't happen in any of the European countries. Those citizens are politically conscious, and they have taken over their country. They are the one demanding accountability. They are the one demanding that things be done properly, and that's where the leaders are afraid of them. They know that if they mess up, they cannot get re-elected. But what is the situation here in Nigeria? Our own people, masses, are the one that even sing the praises and abuse you when you ask for account. When you demand for accountability from our leaders, our masses, those who are suffering, who cannot afford 1 square meal a day, will be calling you names, calling you idiot, calling you bastard, you know, using social media to abuse you. So what I'm trying to say is that the Nigerian people are culprits. The followers also have a larger share of the blame. The people that are actually mismanaging Nigeria today they are less than 13%. But where are the 87%? What are they doing? Why are they sleeping? Why are we not taking back our country? Why are we not taking back Nigeria? Why are we not asking for accountability? Why are we not electing leaders that will bring good governance to us? Why do we allow mediocres to come in and begin to govern us and lord it over us? So majority are sleeping, and as long as they remain in slumber, Nigeria will continue the way it is. I am very, very happy with what Tony, the consciousness of Tony, and he has been raising it. I know him. He's my friend. He was my junior in university, and I know what he has been doing over time and all that. But I tell you, Tony also have to understand that it is not about only the political, the entire North. The entire North also, they are also victim of the misgovernance that is going on with their political elites. So it's not the entire North that is doing what is happening today. It's also the Eastern regional political elites are also guilty. They are all guilty. They know what they are doing to Nigeria. The moment Nigerians begin to wake up and ask for account, and ask for good governance, and ask for good leadership, Nigeria will be one of the best countries in the world. Our people, followers are sleeping. And as long as they sleep, Nigeria will remain the way it is.
Can I say something quickly to you? I thank you very much for that point. Because one of the things that I'm emphasizing tonight is the people are the one that allowed our government to do what they were doing to us. We're the one that give them the chance. We're the one that empowered them to mess about with us. Because in England,
yes,
if you mess up with my election, if you mess me up
yes,
during your term,
yes,
when it's time
yes,
for the next election, you know definitely you're going to be out.
That's
There's
right.
nothing you do in the world that will make me vote for you again.
That's right.
And
that's right.
If 80% of the people are doing that, even if they want to rig the election, there's a limited there's a limit to the amount of rigging that can be done when people stand up for their own right.
That's right. That's right.
So I am going to blame every one of the people in Nigeria. I'm not blaming the government.
That's right.
Because the power to elect the government is in our own hand.
That's right.
The power to get a good hospital is in our own hand. But when election is coming, they start giving them a bag of rice and 1,000 naira.
Yeah.
And the idiot will buy it.
Yeah.
Are they not like Jacob and Esau's story?
That's right. That's right.
For a pot for a cash of 1,000 naira, they're selling their birthright.
Yeah, they sell their birthright. That's right.
Politicians spend so much money to get in. Are they not expected to make this money back? They need this money back.
They will. Yeah.
And they will make the money back at your expense.
Ade, can you listen to me for 1 minute?
Yeah.
On the point you have raised. On the point you have raised. The people you blame, their hands and legs are tied by the Constitution. The election, the candidates who are going to contest in the election are processed over their head. No matter how they vote, somebody in Abuja is in to announce whoever they choose. As it is with the election, how will you get the hospital? How will you get the railway? How will you get the security when they are all on the exclusive list? Only people in Abuja can generate electricity and give to me. I have the capacity to generate electricity. I actually have an electric plant, but I cannot operate it. I cannot generate. I can't transmit. And there are 68 items like that. So it's not as simple as you want to put it, that the people are not docile. Why do we have all the militancy going on everywhere? Is there any part of Nigeria where they don't have armed struggle for people who are fed up, but they may not be as eloquent as we are in expressing, in articulating what is wrong and what could be done?
Can I ask you a question quickly? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In the last election, who did you vote for?
I have never voted under this 1999 constitution. All I have done is to mobilize people to take down that constitution. Monday Obani can laugh. Monday Obani can laugh because he thinks it's impossible. I can assure you, listen to me. Listen to me.
Yeah.
We have mobilized all of those who are choking in Nigeria to take down the constitution of Nigeria. It may look impossible to those who are listening to it, but I can assure you that there's a timetable within which that constitution will go down. There may be casualties.
Have you finished?
Among those anybody who is prepared to swear to defend and uphold a constitution that is worse than apartheid constitution, that person is the enemy I'm looking for. It doesn't matter if it's my twin brother. It doesn't matter if he lives next door. It doesn't matter the party color he comes waving. It's like in apartheid South Africa, you found blacks who are willing to sustain apartheid because of what they get. Oh, they are governor, they are senator, they will make money. But those who are suffering those who have been killed, those whose assets have been detained, those whose future have been compromised, are now a majority that have been mobilized. And we have only one target in our sight, that constitution, and all of those who are prepared to defend and uphold it, no matter where they come from. It is when that constitution goes down that all the discussions will take place. Those who are preparing to go to election...
I'm going to hold you there for a second.
Yes.
Right? Number
Yes.
one, Mr. Umba, Monday.
Yes.
In the
I'm
last
here.
election,
Mr.
who
Bani.
did you vote for? Who did you vote for?
Who did I vote for?
He said it, Buhari is his man.
Wait.
No,
Tony, you voted
in
APC
2015. Yes,
No,
I voted because yes, I have a
2019.
yeah, 2019. Yeah, I had a candidate. Yeah, I had a candidate for gubernatorial election, and then of course I work for it, so I voted for APC. Yes, I voted for APC.
I'm gonna go to Mr. Kuponiyi. Mr. Kuponiyi, yeah. If you're in Nigeria in 2019 and you've seen what happened before 2019, who will you have voted for?
Sincerely speaking, I won't vote for anybody. I'm
So
telling
you will sit on the fence.
I won't vote for anybody. No, I'm not even. You see, the problem with Nigeria is who you vote. Like my brother said, we're having a recycling government. You know, look at the people in the power. Reality speaking, those people has been there since I was in primary school, secondary school. The people that have the knowledge, they won't give them a chance. So when you're saying something about you don't blame the government, you blame you see the problem is who owes the power? The government owes the power. And I remember my dad used to say, as Zeke said, it's only a madman will argue with somebody with a gun. When somebody owes you to a ransom with a gun, there's something. You say in UK, let's get something clearly. Please, don't let us compare UK to Nigeria. It's a big difference.
We're not comparing. I just want to establish a fact.
In some aspects, you know, there are some people can compare. I'm not saying Nigeria, UK is better than, but what I'm saying is, in UK here, we know that if a government is there, you mess up, you're accountable. We have some private ministers here that they were frauding their expenses. They were claiming money that they didn't take somebody to jail. I'm just giving you an example. You and I know that many of them face the court. Many of them lost their post. You tell me in Nigeria, all those people in the Senate, how many people are there accountable? How many people have faced the drama? We have the prime minister here. If something is done right, you know people will do petition. People will protest. You know, people will actually make you accountable for your post, for your constitution. But in Nigeria, how many of them that have faced the court? Some of them goes to the court. They're powerful than the judge. So reality speaking, Nigeria, I said to someone, I said, you see, at time it got to a stage. That time when we talk about Nigeria, I just keep my silent because Nigeria. I said Nigeria until our leaders are accountable for their doing. Up till now, when I remember when Idiagbo was here, many people sat up. Look at Ghana. I remember those days of Rawlings. It put so many people into accountability. Nigeria was so called leaders. How many of them can they put into accountability? I'm not saying Buhari is not doing it, but is it someone that is supposed to be there? When I go there, you go to Nigeria, you want to do good. I bet you 10 people are against you because they know that when you're doing something good, something is smooth, and some people they know from that good thing, they're not getting their own share, they become their enemy. That's what we have in Nigeria.
Okay, Mr. Kuponiyi, I'm gonna.
But the people that are suppressing them, they know that. You look at Nigeria. I heard 2 weeks ago, how many they said they want to ban generator. Somebody came, they want to bring out a bill to ban generator, and I'm thinking, okay, look at this. They want to ban generator. What is the supplement? As I'm talking to you, I'm chatting to people online in Nigeria to connect to the forum, to connect to the debate. Many of them are telling me, how can they do it? There's no light. I haven't got data. There's no light. I can't charge my phone. Look at those basic amenities. You know, reality speaking. How does people and they say, look, they lock us in for 14 days. So a lady is telling me, I hope they don't keep my child. There's no light. How can you sleep in that darkness? How can you sleep in that kind of weather? Seriously speaking. That's why I keep telling you, our leaders seriously. So you know what? Many of them they've got this to account for. Most of them, where are the kids? Or most of their children they're in abroad. Do you think they face the suffering going in Nigeria? It's because it's holiday, everything is locked down now. Everybody, they flew their children back home. Somebody told me Atiku flew some of those top they flew their children back home even when the airport is locked down. I don't know how true is it, but they said they flew their children back home through a private jet. It's possible in Nigeria now. You know, when there's anything, everybody, yes, they disappear abroad. But now, like I said, this corona now has made many of them to sit up. You know, so back to your question, I believe most of our leader people have. Look at, I told you I drove we went from Lagos to Ibadan. I mean to Ilesha. Look at the roads. When I was telling my dad said that road, that's Ibadan road, as they've been doing it from the days of Obasanjo. How many people have they awarded contract to? How many of them have they put to ransom? How many of them have they brought to court? Like my brother is saying there, can you go from Lagos to East? If I get from to Manchester, I should take at least 3 to 4 hours. And there'll be no, but the road is there. It's not as if you look at Nigeria. But like I said to you, things are put in place. There's accountability for everything. But Nigeria, everybody takes contract, they take this, they do that, they move, everybody, they move the money abroad. I told someone in Nigeria, I said the only thing that is working in Nigeria, that is working smoothly, is our banking system. And why did they put emphasis, why did they put technology in banking system? They do that because they want to use that to move money. From where I'm sitting today, I can transfer 10,000 pounds, I can transfer 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira to million, I can transfer it within a flash. But you tell me, this side that they've been doing since how many years? How many people they've given contract to? Now they're giving contract to China. Okay, China is a developed country. Are you telling me there's no company in Nigeria, there's no people that have got engineering technology in Nigeria that they can't do electricity? They tell you, they're saying that they were supplying kanji, that were supplying in the Republic. We can't even boast of a light for 2 hours. There's some places in Nigeria they haven't got light there for how many days, weeks, and they say to lock in. There's no light, there's no water, there's no food. So how do you want people to survive? Seriously speaking, we have people that are living in what's it called, in isolated homes. So like I said, the problem, our leaders, all those local government, all those senate, all those house, we all see how they're doing now. They're sharing cars. People are buying bulletproof cars. Look at the prime minister here. What does it take to Boris Johnson when he goes to parliament here? Well, it's true now. I mean here they're sharing car here. They're sharing anything here. Even people that actually embezzle money through. I'm telling you, the newspaper will flush them out. They will expose them. Nigeria, can anybody flush anybody out? They think that they say they want to ban, they want to block some social media, because they know everything that social media exposes them. They want to do that. Me?
Okay.
Let
me take it away from you, Mr. Kuponiyi. Yeah. Let me take it away from you quickly.
Generation that is going to do Nigeria, I don't think generation. I'm telling you, it's not our generation. Maybe the one coming, the ones that are there now, we think they are eating more. You see the one coming, they are children. Those ones, you think anybody who wants to do 9 to 5 in Nigeria? Everybody wants to buy. The people are now buying planes. People want to buy, yes. So you now tell me how are they going to structure the country? Everybody's just taking those days. They steal thousands. Now they don't even steal millions. They're stealing billions. They're stealing foreign currency. Look at the old Nigerian reserve there. What is left? Nothing. So reality speaking, quickly. Like I said,
let me go to
yes.
Tony, Mr. Kuponiyi. Let me go to Tony. Tony, there's something I
yes.
want you to understand, right? And I want you to analyze this one. I'm going to pick from what Mr. Kuponiyi said, what Olu said, yeah? One of the things he said is that the people coming after this government and the one afterwards and the one after us, they are even going to be more wicked than the one that are there now. So who's going to do the restructuring? If you send a small child on an errand in Nigeria today, they want to see what you're going to give them. Look at the small boys doing Yahoo boys. Look at the people doing money rituals. And these are the kind of people we want to leave the country for. And these are the people who can govern. So to me, there's a bigger problem that we're not trying to focus on in Nigeria. And the bigger problem we're not trying to focus on in Nigeria is the problem of individual. The problem of individual. Our individual problems. The problem that I carry, the problem that you carry, the problem that Tony carry, the problem that Olu carries, the problem that Uba carry, the problem that your neighbor carries. Number one, I'm going to put 2 questions for you. That's number 1 question. The second question is, if you don't vote in Nigeria, you're sitting on the fence. You're not helping the country. And I'll tell you why you're not helping the country. You're not going to effect the change that people need. Am I right? If you don't vote.
That's what you think. Was it by vote? Was it by vote apartheid was taken down? Was it by vote that apartheid constitution was taken down in South Africa? Or is there any difference between what we have now and the apartheid constitution in South Africa?
Did you realize how many people that died in South Africa? How many people are willing to die in South Africa? Are people in Nigeria willing to die? They're not willing to die.
The 3.5 million people, the 3.5 million people Nigeria killed in Eastern Nigeria between 1967 and 1970 died on account of wanting to take charge of their lives. There are others being killed across the Middle Belt today. There are people being killed in Yoruba land today. What we have done is to assemble all of these people to say we can end our trauma. Nigeria is the source of that problem. The constitution of Nigeria is the enabler of that problem. There's a majority that are now fed up with that Nigeria. Those who are planning to go to election, I wish them good luck. But you see that constitution by which they're going to govern, when they win that election, they will have to work harder than we have done to get to another election under that constitution. All of those who are being killed all over the place in Nigeria, you think they're going to wait for people to come and tell them another 4 years under this mess, under that constitution? We must be joking.
What I realize is this, yeah? One of the things I will probably emphasize is this. The problem in Nigeria today, after these coronavirus, we might see a lot of changes in Nigeria. Because we don't know among the elites, among our leader, who's going to survive it. Am I right? We don't know yet. Because they left the health system in Nigeria in a very terrible situation. The health system that's supposed to save them now, they left it in a very terrible situation. So things might change. Coronavirus might actually be a savior to so many of us. Because it might change, it might effect some changes in Nigeria. Because if this goes away, I have an image that I would like to show people. I'm just gonna try and look at it quickly if I can find it. The image was from the show that we had yesterday, that these people are actually begging. They were begging the coronavirus to say Corona should please pardon them. When coronavirus, a tiny virus, come up and said, you haven't done it properly in Nigeria, I'm going to take your life. And they put their hands up and they were actually begging. And that was very funny. To me, that was the most amazing cartoon I've ever seen in so many years. Because it makes me think that why are these people... 1 second, let me just see if I can find it quickly. It might be this one. Okay, I found that image. I'm gonna display the image now so that everybody can see the image. This is the image I'm talking about. That little thing on the floor there is coronavirus, and these muggles, these idiots are our politicians. And that on far corner there is the Nigerian health system. And look at that tiny thing terrorizing them. And they put their hands up and say, we're sorry, sir. They're even saying, sorry, sir, to coronavirus. We promise to fix it. Because I think the coronavirus might actually be a savior for Nigerians. Because this comes and show them that they're in trouble. I'm going to show a market in Lagos, is Balogun Market. What happened in Balogun Market in the last few hours before the shutdown.
La body now. You know they to the coffee to better than you.
You see, what they were discussing there is they were discussing that because of the curfew, in the middle of the night, this is about 9 o'clock in the night in Nigeria, and that's the market. That's Balogun Market in Lagos. And it was so packed because the few that has money, imagine a lot of people has money, that market will be filled to the brink. It will be like a stadium. A lot of people don't have money, but they still manage to come out and do shopping at this time at 9 o'clock in the night in Balogun Market. So this is the problem. Nigeria problem might be fixed from this coronavirus. Because number one, they're playing party politics with coronavirus, and they have played it. They're not distributing money to people that need money. They were distributing money, they were giving advantage to people that helped them to rig the election, people that have voted for them, even though the people that push them to a post they don't deserve. That is what they were doing. That is why I put it as a title, playing party politics with coronavirus. Right? They're supposed to look after the widows, the elderly people, the children, people that doesn't have money. We talk about VBM, what they could have used to solve the problem, but they refuse to use it. Until we realize...
No, even now they can still do that. Even now, the lockdown is just 1 day. Now, if they take that decision this night, by the close of business tomorrow, they will have a template to operate with. They will have the accounts of the people who need the money, and it will get to them. Whatever is left, they can now work out how to reach those who are not on that list. But at least they will have attended to close to 80% of the problem. Because if in a family 2-3 people get it, they can reach out to those who are not on, who do not have BVN, and then the government can go to those who do not have bank accounts at all already, and that will be some. And even if we put a 200 billion naira to it, is it up to $1 billion? You have a budget of $11 billion, and you have your citizens facing this kind of more than 100 million citizens are in distress at this hour. Why can't it be done?
Somebody sent a message on the platform earlier on, and I'll quickly go through that message for you so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Because this problem, there's a bigger problem coming ahead that a lot of people are not actually seeing. And if you give me a minute, I'll just go to that comment for you. Mr. Saint in New York said something. 1 second, please. Okay, Mr. Saint in New York said something to me and said there's a bigger problem to come because people are actually manufacturing babies now, and the population will explode to the extent that maybe we have 110 million now. In 1 year's time, we will probably have 130 million. And if they don't cater for 110, how can they cater for 130 million? Because people will give back 9 months' time, 10 months' time, there will be so much baby born. Because you can't keep locking a man and a woman in the same house every day for 24 hours. What do you expect them to do? They don't have food. They don't have money. They can't keep fighting every second. But what we want to do, what is the best way forward for Nigeria?
Did it take a lockdown? Did it take a lockdown for, you saw the legislator on the floor of your Nigerian National Assembly who brought his wife to come to demonstrate to us that he had 27 children and that he will still have some more. That's the kind of civilization we're dealing with.
Can I ask you one question from that? From what you just said?
Yes.
Whose fault? Yes. Who gave the man the advantage? The man is a stark illiterate.
But he's a legislator.
You let a monkey. If you pay a monkey, if you pay a monkey, you're gonna get a peanut. Or if you pay a peanut, you're gonna get a monkey. Like they said. If people are so dumb,
the man is a member of your Nigerian National Assembly. His people have sent him to go and represent him. If there was no money, if there was no oil money being shared in Abuja, if there was no money realized from the ports of Lagos being shared in Abuja, where will he find the money to run the number of wives in which he's boasting of 27 children?
27 children.
27.
I saw that. And this man might not even know how to pronounce coronavirus.
That's the kind of thing we're dealing with. If there was no money stolen from you and I to share to them, will you be doing that?
A country where a doctor, a legislator get more than a doctor. The Senate people in Nigeria, they're getting more money than the Prime Minister of UK. Okay, we've argued about all these things. We've talked about all this, right? What is the best solution? What is the best education? What is the best advice we want to give our people? Can I start from Mr. Ubani, please?
Well, I've listened carefully to everyone's intervention, including my brother in London. He's so passionate about this country. Even though he's enjoying all the civilization in the UK, he feels that he has a country he will return to. I'm very happy about that. I'm also very happy with Tony. Tony has always been very passionate about Nigeria, and he's been doing all in order to ensure that we have a country that all of us also should be proud of. And of course, you, the presenter, too, I'm sure you're Nigerian, and the way you have analyzed, understand what is going on here, I really appreciate. Now, the coronavirus crisis actually will bring some sense into us, both as followers and also as leaders, that we need to fix Nigeria. That we don't need to depend on going abroad, to buy houses and enjoy the medical tourism of those nations. Whereas those basic things can be fixed here, that we should have light. Somebody mentioned that it's only our banking sector. It just occurred to me that actually the app of the banking sector is so efficient, especially for the sake of transferring money and all that. Anytime I want to transfer money, it's so easy, because of the fact that somebody has made that particular sector to be functional. We can also make all our sectors to be functional. Our railway system, our seaport, decentralize it. A nation of 200 million having only one seaport in Lagos, only Lagos zone. And if you see that those who work in Apapa cannot access that environment due to the fact that the place is overcongested, because of bad planning and inefficient and very corrupt leadership that Nigeria has been bestowed with. If we have had leaders that think, if we have had leaders that put on their thinking cap, if we have had leaders that love this nation, there is no way we cannot have electricity that is functional. There is no way we cannot have good road. There is no single road today in Nigeria that you say that meet any international standard. There is no single road. Either going from Lagos to west, going from Lagos to east, or going from Lagos to north. There is no single. Not even leaving Abuja and going to Lokoja. You cannot get any road that is actually a good road. And after how many years of operating what you call democracy, and we have spent billions and billions, there is no road today you can say this is a standard road. The only road you can be very proud of when you come to Nigeria is the one from Lekki to the one that it was Fashola that did it, even though you have to pay toll, in order to cross the road. That is the only road you can say is a beautiful road. I mean, there is no single road today I can be very proud of. Unless when they finish this Ibadan Expressway, you can probably drive and say, I am proud. There is nothing to be proud of. So this coronavirus will teach Nigerian sense, leaders and followers, so that we can come back and really build a country that all of us shall be very proud of. There is nothing God has denied us. In terms of basic, infrastructure, I mean, in terms of good gift that God has planted on our ground, on our soil, He has given us enough. Is He on the issue of human resources? Yes, human resources. We have the best. Of course, in London, in America, all over Europe, you have Nigerians who have migrated from Nigeria and are doing so well in every sector in all those countries and all that. So, in terms of human resources, we have the most brilliant human beings on earth. But today we are the poorest. In fact, we are the capital city of the poor in the entire world and all that. And it's not something we should be proud of. So coronavirus has actually have to reset our senses and we come back to really know that we have to fix this country. There is no country like Nigeria. The weather is beautiful. The people are friendly. Everything about us is so beautiful apart from issue of leadership. And the moment God gives us good leadership that can be able to harness this thing that God has actually planted in this country and make Nigeria to be functional, there is no country that will be as beautiful as Nigeria. I don't know whether it's conspiracy of the white or whoever that's conspiring to make Nigeria not to work. Our leaders will begin to think of how to take our resources and begin to take them abroad and all that. Let God put senses back to them using this coronavirus for them to make Nigeria one of the best countries in the world. We can fix our basic infrastructures, our rail system, our road, our seaport. We can make our light to work. We can make investors to come all over the world and begin to build factories here and employ our boys. We have resources. We have a lot of things. We have human resources. We have natural resources. We have mineral resources. There is nothing God has not. So we can get Nigeria working again. I still believe in Nigeria. I'm not like Tony, my brother, who has lost hope. I believe in this country that we can get it right. The moment we restructure this country and get the kind of leadership that can take over the reins of this particular Nigeria, we will get a country that all of us shall be proud of, that Tony's children shall be proud of. It is possible. It is possible if we believe. But can we get the kind of followers and leaders that can make this country the way it's supposed to be? That is the basic question. And that's my own contribution, this night concerning this particular discussion. We can get a country that all of us can be proud of. It is possible and we can do it. I believe it can happen in my own time. I'm not praying that I shouldn't see it. I must see a country that is functional before I die. This country must work. It must work for me. It must work for my children. It must work for my great-grandchildren. It is my prayer point, and I know God has answered me in Jesus' name.
For that, before I go to Tony, I'm going to go to Olu first. Olu, your last word about what can we do to solve Nigerian problem? Because I want to give Tony plenty of time to pour out his. I know he's angry, and I want him to actually pour out his mind in a constructive way that it will be useful for everyone to take in. Go ahead, Mr. Kuponiyi.
We said most. Actually, I appreciate the brother that just spoke earlier on. I feel what we can do, like I keep saying, it has to come from the top. There has to be accountability. If you give someone millions of naira to do a project and the work is not carried out, the work is not done, then reality speaking, it's either they return the money or they face a consequence. Like I said, our government, look at, okay, for example, UK here. It's not as, like I keep saying, it's not as if UK is richer than Nigeria, but basic amenities in UK is there for people. There are people that they come and they are unemployed. You see the government, they give them the social benefits. They give them the housing, they give them social benefit. It might not be much, but it's something. Until that little token, deprive people from stealing, people from doing all sorts of it. It still happens. Not that it's going to eradicate it, but do you know when someone is hungry and there's nowhere to, there's nothing to, people going to do what you don't expect of people. But when you have a country of Nigeria, like I said, over 200 million, I don't even know what our population is. They just give us different figures. But let's say over 200 million. And the lockdown is about, not even up to 48 hours. People have been at home. And people have already feeling the impact. And this is going for 2 weeks. You and I look at it. Are you telling me this thing, the way this thing is going, is it going to be, are people going to be able to last for 2 weeks with this situation? This is just early days. UK here now, I've been at home now working from home. This is my second week. I know what I'm going through. I'm not locked down. Once I finish tonight, I'm still going to go for like a short walk. But with what I'm saying with Nigeria, it's still down to the government. They still have to give the people, they still have to empower them in little things. There was a time they say, oh, okay, maybe those days of election, so whatever was saying, they'll give graduates this and that. But, at the end of the day, he didn't, of course, we know he didn't win. But little things like that, give people benefit, give people social health, major, do the roads, do school, light. I'm telling you, I tell someone, I say, if this country should have light, if it's not even 24 hours, okay, let's start with 12 hours, let's start with 18 hours. Many things we put in place. Nigeria people, they are hardworking people. People work, they're straight with their hand. People trade with their, people do their own business. But when there's no light, there's no nothing in place, people will be stressed. People will be stranded. How many people can actually send their children abroad? But with our own leaders, seriously speaking, at times, I just feel at times it's shared wickedness because most of our leaders, we all know, most of their kids, they're all abroad. How many of them are in Nigeria? Nothing. They just come to Nigeria holiday, they go back. Why are they sending their kids abroad? Why they not fix it? Like I said, this corona that has opened their eyes, enlightened them. People can't go out to go and seek medical, medical, treatment. So it's still down to the Nigerian government. The basic thing. It's not as if they don't know it now. My dad was here in the 60s. He worked here in the 60s. He worked here in the 70s. He goes back to Nigeria. Those days you come here, you study, you go back to Nigeria, you get the top jobs. They're even begging you. They give you houses. They give you cars. People come here these days. They do their master. They do everything. They go back to Nigeria. It's not like that. It's who you know. I have a brother here. He did his masters here. He went back to Nigeria. I can tell you the work he's doing today. It's not as if it's the best work, but it could have gone further with someone with an MSc. And like my brother said, that we have the technology, we have the knowledge, we have everything. But reality speaking, when they don't give people a chance, we're having all this recycling, government recycling everybody, everybody in the Senate, everybody's just filling their pockets now. So reality speaking, most people, they don't care about this common citizen. It's just their own family, their own pocket, that's it. And until they actually start caring about people, that's why I said to people, I said, look, until Nigeria start caring about their citizens, health and safety, basic amenities, then things will fall in place. And that's why I've got to say things will fall in place. When you have someone that wants to work, there's no job. He went to university a course of 3 years, he does 5 years, 6 years, he came out, no job, no nothing. You tell me how, the other day somebody was telling me the lifespan of a typical Nigeria. Some people even frustrating, over 50. You see people committing suicide. And we think we're in UK here. You see people like homeless, sleeping. And when you get to Nigeria, it's double. And the government, I don't know. I know they're trying, like my brother said, the Lagos State government. Yeah, they're trying, but they can do better. All this money that they're donating, we don't need to wait for coronavirus to actually come and attack Nigeria before we see all those kind of donations. All those people, they can build hospitals, they can build local center, they can invest, they can build businesses. They can be, yes, they can, and people they can employ people. We all know Nigerian people, we're hardworking people. There's no benefit here. There are people here that they don't even work, they sit on benefit. That's why you see when Nigeria go outside Nigeria, you see that we actually, what's it called? We prevail. Because when you're in Nigeria, you go to abroad and you see everything on your finger. Right? Everything is there for you. I'm talking to you now. There's light. There's nothing like I'm chatting to people. Many of my friends, there's no light. There's no data. The system to link the program, even link the system. The data is slow. So that's why I would like. That's why I would say, like I said, the Nigerian government, they have to empower the youths. It's not just stealing billion or million. All this money that they're stealing, where they, in the long run, when they were okay, they'll pass it to their next children, generation, everything. It's a sad case, but I know one day, like I said, I believe in it, but it's just at time when I'm in that country, I see so many potential, and I see things that people can do. I see, talent, but when they're being suppressed, nobody's empowering them. I don't know how many banks give loan. Not that they don't give loan, but in reality, how many companies? Look at the population of China, even with the way Nigeria population is. I've been to South Africa now. I went to South Africa last year and I saw the roads. It was like lovely, lovely. And I was chatting to people that were telling me, you know what, they prefer even the white people to be there because we all see when they give the power to black people, everything runs down. I've got friends from South Africa, I've got friends from abroad. You take Nigeria. So why did they call us giant of Africa? It might not be struck, but they know that the technology is there, the knowledge is there. So reality speaking, we know that we can't do it, but when we are having leaders that we've been using for the past 20 years, 30, and they're still coming back there are people that are brain now. All my colleagues and people on the panel here, we have people that have, they've got vast knowledge. But it's not as if they can, but will they give them a chance? No. Everybody's just their own, they're recycling their own people when they're coming at the next place. That's why, come back to my story. That's why I said, come back to your. At times, it's not what you even vote in Nigeria. It's not the people that you vote in. It's not, everybody know that things still get rigged. I've seen an election here that, these are the people that voted, but no, all of us, they cancel it, they put someone else because they want to put their own people. You know, that's what I'm still going back to the accountability. Until people can be accounted for, people can be accounted for their account. All this money, all the, you know, it's just so sad. All the Senate, you see all of them now. You said it yourself. Look at the amount of money they're paying them. The Prime Minister, how much is he getting? You know, but you see all the Senate, yeah, at many of them, they're just clearing the law. I don't even know, at times, I don't even know, what are they doing there? What, and typical Senate, what have they, most of them, not even 1%, what have they done to their constitutional? Nothing. Everybody's just, you know, money. That's why at time when you say, oh, people are, they're giving a bag of rice. Yes, someone that is hungry, they will take anything. But reality speaking, when they know that you do, you don't do, nothing, nobody's, you know, nobody's going to be actually challenging them. There are many of them, they're actually unaccountable. So that's my own take home. I just pray the pandemic doesn't get worse. You know, the lockdown of the people that they locked down come out, and you know, even here you can still go to shops, you can still go to places, go back home, go to shop if you're in social care, but you can't lock people down for 24 hours in the darkness. Doing what? All day with the heat in Nigeria, with those stress. This body that we have, this body is not even capable. I've been at home now for like almost 2 days. I know what I'm going through. I'm not even in Nigeria. Only my wow, side of house. What can we do? You can't even go, you know, those days we go out to wine bar, we go, you know, have a good time, come back with the family. You can't even go anywhere. So when they say they put some people in house arrest, it is not even as people, and we were still going and we're facing this stress. You know, you and I were both in abroad. Imagine people in Nigeria. I'm even surprised. Many of my colleagues there, they've gone the light. I don't know, maybe it's natural light, maybe it's generator, maybe it's this. But people are going through different stress. And that is not even good. You know, yeah, they even say, oh, if this doesn't get started, I'm going to mental illness, people are going to go through stress. That's the UK. Imagine people back to Nigeria. You know, when Corona goes, you'll be surprised. Some people will be coming out with different kind of stress, coming out with different kind of high blood pressure. At times, some people, they even dying of high blood pressure, they dying of other diseases, but they think everything that is corona. So that's what we take. We pray everything.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Your contribution. Your contribution has gone a long way to help us in what we're doing. Before I go to Uncle Tony has got some few things that I need to shed light on. Mr. Tony, go ahead, please. Yeah, your last sum up. Yeah.
Right. You see, thank you. When like doctors will do, when you have a life-threatening ailment, the first thing is the diagnosis. Then you can come to prescription based on that diagnosis, and then you go to treatment based on that prescription, in that order. If you do not diagnose properly, you can have a wrong prescription and the treatment will be wrong and the patient will die. The patient we have on the table now is Nigeria that is dying. We can pretend as we like, but if we look around the country, we will see that everybody is taking their own steps to extricate themselves from that Nigeria before it finally collapses by itself. If anybody is pretending they do not know that Yoruba are doing, the Yoruba as a bloc, taking steps to stand by themselves beyond the union that is now dead. Nigeria, the Federation of Nigeria collapsed in 1966. The attempt to revive it in 1967 in Agori got abandoned, and that federation had died since that time. The Nigeria that came since that point of the collapse of the federation, the one they call one Nigeria, the Nigeria of force, the Nigeria of master and servant, the Nigeria that is worse than apartheid South Africa, the Nigeria that is unacceptable to more than 3/4 that are trapped in it now, the Nigeria that cannot command the loyalty of anybody in his right mind, the Nigeria that feeds on the blood of its citizens, the Nigeria that imposed a constitution that puts all of the things, the assets of the owners of Nigeria are taken away from them by that constitution. There's nothing you're going to tell those whose assets are taken away. When they see that flag, that green, white, green flag you are flying, is offensive to them. I'm talking about more than 75% of the country today. Put it to referendum and see whether you still have a country. And so what we're saying is that unless we want to deceive ourselves, the union is in dispute. The constitution that was imposed is not holding. Those who are choking under that constitution, those who are assets are detained by that constitution. Those who are suppressed, who are subjugated by that constitution. Those who are suffering from the mediocrity imposed by that constitution. Those who do not have electricity because that constitution took away their right to generate and transmit electricity. Those who cannot defend themselves all across Nigeria, particularly the Middle Belt, who are being killed in their homelands by people they know, supported by a government that is in open collusion with those people. They are all working to get themselves out of that union. And so, it is not a matter of leadership. If we ask ourselves, if we do a simple cause and effect analysis, we will immediately see that there's a reason why things are the way they are. Why do we not have the kind of leadership that we aspire to have? Something is responsible for it. A situation where mediocrity is preferred to excellence. A situation where people in faraway places are the ones determining who will govern. A situation in which the treasury is kept at the disposal by that constitution in black and white. The treasury is kept at the disposal of those in the executive branch with no requirement to account. With a clause that gives them immunity. With the appropriation provision that remove the kind of control you have in a democracy from the legislative branch. In all of that, we are saying that the nature of the problem we have to solve today, except we have all made up our mind to give up the union, the nature of the problem is exactly like the apartheid constitution of South Africa, in which the Boers imposed themselves by constitution on the owners of South Africa, on the black owners of South Africa. That constitution lasted so long until people who had some knowledge, some honest lawyers came along, Oliver Tambo and Nelson Mandela, and began to explain to the black people that your problem is not with those in government house. Like Monday Obani is talking about leaders and leaders and leaders. How come since the collapse of that constitutional of the Federation of Nigeria, how come we have not been lucky to have any set of good leaders? It's because the tap is running and we are mopping instead of going to turn off the tap. What we need to do today is exactly what South Africa did with the apartheid constitution. We must accept that we have not made this constitution and put it aside. We must then go to a meeting to decide what will happen. It is from where we recommit to that we can go to the matter of writing another constitution. And what I'm talking about now cannot wait for another round of election to happen. Election will not solve it. It was not by election that apartheid was solved in South Africa. It was not by wishful thinking. And so, as at today, unless we want to witness the catastrophic collapse of that union, the only chance left for us to have a union is to accept we've not made this constitution that is choking more than 3/4, put it aside, go into a transition, sit down with the owner, those who will be countries of their own if Nigeria was not in place. Yoruba will be a country of more than 55 million people today if Nigeria were to collapse. I mean, are you going to say they can't generate their electricity or do their roads or do their educational system or health far better than Nigeria is doing? In the eastern part, it's worse. In the middle belt, they can take care of themselves. But if you now say they cannot do those things, people are coming to kill people, and you say because the arms and ammunition is on exclusive list, they cannot touch gun, and then they are being killed. You think they're going to fold their arms and sing your national anthem with you? You are deceiving yourself. Let us accept that Nigeria was not our making in 1914. Let us accept that the effort to make it our own project failed in 1966. Let us accept that what was imposed in replacement for what was toppled, and it wasn't, let me correct what Obani was talking about in Ironsi. The decree number 34, the one they call Unification Decree, Ironsi had to enact, was because it was just the administration. The regional governments had collapsed. Decree number 34 was to set up something of an emergency to manage the situation. Therefore, the regional governors and the head of state became the Supreme Military Council. Ironsi's decree number 34 did not touch the structure of the Federation of Nigeria. It was Gowon's decree made on the 27th of May in 1967, more than 1 year, almost a year after Ironsi had been killed in July of 1966, that for the first time touched the federation, the structure of the Federation of Nigeria. It was the day the 12 states were imposed by Gowon. He himself confessed it only 2 weeks ago, that they had to do that, that they had to fracture the federation in that manner in order to prevent Eastern Nigeria from leaving the Union. Since that time, they have not. The only way to go back to returning the Union of Nigeria is to go back to being a federation. Today, we're not a federation, and that country that is in place is held in place by force, and you cannot hope to prevail at all times using force, especially when there's a majority. The whole of the South, the whole of the Middle Belt are holding hands against that constitution. Those who are holding onto that constitution from these parts are actually daring the people, because it is that constitution that is directly responsible for the killings, directly responsible for the poverty, directly responsible for the torments. Anybody who is still hoping to go to another election on the basis of that constitution will have his own people to contend with. The union has failed. Let us accept it and go to rework it. Otherwise, it will kill many more people. We have 200 million people that are trapped here, and we're pretending we have no problem.
Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. Before we go, I'm just gonna show you a video of a protest that just sprang up in Lagos about people being locked indoor and they have no money. It's about 3 minutes, so I might probably let you watch the whole 3 minutes. And let's go for it quickly before we go.
How do they want us to stay inside? No life waiting for you. No money to buy fuel. No life. I think we should run
You are right, Sal, but I have a question, please. You're saying we should stay indoor, but the indoor you are asking us to stay, do you know that there is no food for us? There is nothing they provide for us. People, they say 14 days, and 14 days is not a day. And there is no money, there is no food.
My sister.
Yeah, I'm listening, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, my brother.
I'm listening clearly.
There's nothing we can do right now.
Okay.
Are you saying that the government should release everybody so that the virus will keep spreading?
No, I never said so. I never said so. They said a social distance.
It's a precautionary measure.
Yes, you are right by that. But we are telling you from now to 2 days, we will come out to protest. If they did not send any money or food for us, we will protest. We will protest. We will protest. We are given 2 days for our protection. We will protest. We will protest in 2 days' time. Yes. Yes, I love what you said. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm working on my own. What government expects? For God's sake.
You did delivered your message, and we want you to deliver our message too. That in 2 days' time we are going to protest. We can't stay indoors for hunger. In 2 days we will protest. We've had your, we had you. We've had you. We will protest in 2 days' time. Today we are giving them today. They did not pay us any money. They did not give us food. Our children are there. They say we should stay indoors. For what reason? Tomorrow we are going to protest. See, our children are hungry, and you say we should stay indoor. Why will you say we should stay indoor? For what reason? You didn't give us money, you didn't pay us anything, and you want us to stay indoor. Tomorrow, but they provide food for them. But they provide food for them. They provide food for them. They provide food for them. Sir, they provide food for them. They provide food for them. They don't provide food for English. We will not gather again. We will not gather again. But from tomorrow, we will protest tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will protest tomorrow. Yes, we've heard what you said. Leave about that. You are just giving the. Sir, you've delivered your message, and we've heard you. We've heard you. Tomorrow we will protest. They want to kill us. They've imprisoned. They want to imprison us without anything.
Thank you very much. That is the latest from Lagos, sent in by Olayomi Koiki of Koiki Media. It's a shame people are protesting already in Lagos, because if you lock people in, if you don't want people to go out for 14 days, and the first day or the second day there is no food for them to eat, I don't see anything else they're going to do apart from to make noise. Gentlemen, I really want to thank you very much for coming on the show with me today. Before we go, I'm going to have a quick summary of what I personally think that Nigeria needs. Number one, we need restructuring. Going separate way might not be the solution, but each region making its own law and ruling itself might be a kind of a solution that might fix the problem, because that might set in a competition that every region wants to make sure their region developed. The Northern elites are not even looking after the Northern people themselves. That is why we have the Alimanjaris that is causing trouble in the northern part of Nigeria. Jonathan tried to fix the northern illiteracy problem, which actually backfires, because the people in the east think he's an idiot and rebel against him. And they did not just rebel against him lightly, they rebel against him in a very, very terrible way. That kick him out. Jonathan might have his problem. And his problem is a tree cannot make a forest. And when I mean a tree cannot make a forest, Jonathan can try everything in the whole world to make sure things work a bit. But if the people around him does not allow it to work, it's not going to work. We can put the youth there today. We can put children there today. We can put adults there today. We can put just SU there today. They might still not be able to make Nigeria to work. Everybody has got a part to play in this. You, me, him, she, who, everybody. The Northerner, the Southerner, the Easterner, the Westerner, the Middle Belt people. Everybody has got a part to play, a major role to play. Every family has got a major role to play. Because even if you put anybody there today and the Yahoo boys are still operating, they're going to embezzle money. If women bomb still rules Nigeria, they call it woman power. Woman power doesn't work in England, but it works in Nigeria. If the people in government here in United Kingdom, if they mess about with women, it can bring their government down. I remember an MP here that tried to lie about his driving license. She ended up in jail. But that cannot happen in Nigeria. Look at the Senate people coming in from abroad when they were talking about quarantine and people should be checked at the airport. Look at how they arrogantly go in without being checked. How many people has been infected as a result of this problem? Listen, gentlemen, Nigerians all over the world, I really thank you for sticking with us on Heritage Television tonight. I really appreciate your contribution. It's a shame I couldn't read so many of the comments, and it's a big shame I couldn't read so many of the comments because things were getting eat up a little bit. I really thank you, gentlemen, for being on the panel tonight, and I hope next time I call you, you will be glad to come again. I really appreciate you, and until next time that I come your way again with another set of people that will probably talk about Nigerian issue again, I want to say very thank you to everybody that stick around with us, and a very good night. Enjoy your night, sir.